Hello, Paul and Ryan from Resilient Training Lab, and today we're going to talk about progress and how progress isn't always linear. Actually, it's never linear. And when we first start training, and when people first start training, they want to see progress in this linear fashion where they kind of come in and they get better every time they come in. And the thing is, this does happen when we first start. When we first start training, every time we come in, we're making gains, and that progress seems linear. But as your training age grows, you start to realize that that's not the case, and our performance, even in our beginning stages, fluctuates from day to day. And on any given day, you could see a 10, 15% swing in strength or in performance. And when you get really caught up in that day-to-day changes, it gets very, very, very frustrating. And you have to kind of step back and look at the big picture, and you start to notice that you are actually making progress. So, at home, right now, everybody has push-ups, and maybe one day you can do 10 push-ups, and the next day you can only do 8 push-ups, and you get all frustrated. But then you think back to when this all started, and you could only do 2 or 3 push-ups, and you realize that you have made a lot of progress. But in that time from getting from 2 to 10, there was a lot of ups and downs. But as long as that general trend is moving forward, then you are doing a good job.
Yeah, to tie that push-up example back to the gym, something that all of you are familiar with, if you're thinking about going for a new bench press PR and in the future, and right now you hit a new 10 rep bench press PR, you know that you have a higher ceiling for your single because you're progressing your sets of 10. And so I would try and look at it that way. All these workouts that you're doing at home, well, yes, you're still going to have to do a lot of work when you get back to the gym in order to continue to push your strength PRs. You're sort of laying the foundation now and working on a lot of physical traits and characteristics that are going to contribute to your successes when you are back in the gym.
Yeah, and just because you're not moving, numerically towards your specific goal, doesn't mean that you're not progressing towards that goal. So a lot of people we train have, strength goals. They want to improve their 1 rep max, but to improve their 1 rep max, a lot goes into that. There has to be hypertrophy, there has to be adequate aerobic base to recover between sessions, and there has to be enough hypertrophy to have the potential to move that weight, and then there's a whole neurological component. So there's a lot of factors that go into achieving every goal. And just because you're not numerically moving towards that goal or objectively moving towards that goal doesn't mean that you're not improving other aspects of fitness that in the long run will help you get to that goal. So that's important to consider right now.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic of looking for progress, I think it's really important to look at the window in which we're looking for progress. So like Paul had said, if your strength is fluctuating 10 to 15% day to day, that's probably not a great indicator of where you're at. And depending on how long you've been in the gym, you might need to look back weeks or months to see significant progress, or for it to be easier for you to notice it. And so if somebody just starts in the gym, they're going to be way stronger than they were 3 months ago. But if you've been lifting for 10 years, 3 months isn't a high percentage of your training career. So you might have to look back a little bit farther to tell whether or not you're making as much progress as you think you are. So I'd really encourage you not to fall into the trap of looking too recently into the past to look for progress. Think bigger picture. And along the same lines, given the current circumstances, maintaining is a form of progress. So I would ask myself, if 5 years ago, if this were to happen, would I have been able to handle these circumstances as well as I am now, or would I have been as prepared to go through this as I am now? And I think that can be a really great way to frame how much you've grown and how much progress you've made as an individual.